you're worth enough no matter how you look and how you feel. I was so insecure about myself, and that was a new situation for me actually. I could not recognize myself anymore. But I has also learned that your self-worth is not depending on your weight or your look.
That was Pernille K Rasmussen, and this is the My Vegan Personal Trainer podcast with Remy, episode number 2.
Welcome to the My Vegan Personal Trainer podcast, where it's all about living a fit, plant-based lifestyle so you can thrive in life while caring for the planet and animals. And now, your host, medical doctor, CrossFit athlete, and online personal trainer, Remy.
Hey, it's Remy and welcome back to the My Vegan Personal Trainer podcast. This is episode number 2. In today's episode, we have our first ever guest to be interviewed. In alignment with our slogan, change your mindset, change your life, her being the first couldn't have been a better pick. A previous client who came from being intimidated by the gym to it now being her sanctuary. She used to be stressed by the body scale with an unhealthy relationship with food to now occasionally eating, as she describes herself, like shit, and still be relaxed about it, fitter than ever. This episode will serve as an example to the bright light that awaits us once we decide to face and fight our demons. We worked together between 2017 and 2018, where she lost 22 pounds in a year, going from overweight to normal BMI. It's safe to say that she kept it off, and she hasn't stopped kicking ass ever since. She has since gone plant-based. The interview was conducted in summer of 2021, last year, prepping for competitions in CrossFit. And she has, since the interview, now competed in multiple CrossFit competitions. She works as the project leader for governmental purchases and has recently even become a personal trainer and nutrition coach herself. I'm fucking proud of her, and her journey motivates and inspires me on my own journey, and I'm pretty sure it will do the same for you as well. Subscribe if you're not already a member of the tribe, and just a boring disclaimer before we get started, the information provided in this podcast is for informational purposes only and is not meant to take the place of professional medical, dietetic, or fitness advice. Consult with the relevant professional for your specific situation. And now, without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome Pernille K Rasmussen. All right, so welcome, Pernille, on the My Vegan Personal Trainer podcast. How are you doing?
Thanks for inviting me. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. It's been some time ago since we've been seeing each other. It's a month or two since, but it's before that, then it's been years almost since we've been seeing each other, having contact at least.
Yeah, for sure. So I have been very excited to talk to you today, actually.
So, but anyway, you're actually the first guest that we're having on the show. So yeah, that's the first. The agenda for this episode is we will be going into the basically your weight loss journey that you've been through from November 2017 to November 2018 when we were working together in the gym. And a special focus will be on the mental challenges that you've been having as you went, your obstacles and how you conquered them. But before we do that, could you maybe just start with a short introduction of yourself, what you do, where you currently at in your fitness journey?
Yeah, so as you just told, my name is Pernille. I'm 20 years old. In a daily basis, I'm working as a project leader. I have done fitness for quite some time now, but recently started doing CrossFit and want to compete in CrossFit. So yeah, that's where I am right now.
Mm-hmm. And it's safe to say that you have come very far from where you started, like from when we met, from when we met in November of 2017. So what I would like to do, and what will also be most valuable to the listener, is basically let's take the time machine, go back to the go to the past, and we are now in November 2017. And could you maybe describe to me what's the situation like? What is status November 2017?
Yeah, so me and my boyfriend just moved out of our parents to another city. I have been playing handball for many years, but have lost some interest in that compared with, the new city and new study. So I had gained some weight, and I have reached a point where I thought like, oh crap, life is too short to feel this way about my body. I was just, so insecure. And actually, I remember myself feeling kind of ashamed of my body. I didn't want to wear some certain kind of clothes. And I was, it affected my self-esteem. And that was the reason why I contacted you. I am from a home where, both my parents and siblings have done a lot of sports. Me too. We have always lived a healthy lifestyle. So when I moved out, I was just like going in the grocery and was just, I want to taste everything. Because I haven't tried a lot of candy and sodas and so on. So, it just went crazy, to be honest.
So what was it that made it like, what made this change? That's you just, there was no stop when it came to that.
Yeah, now it was up to me to do my own nutrition. And I felt kind of free in the start, but it became such a burden to me because I haven't taught to navigate in a grocery actually, because my parents always have done the shopping and make all the healthy foods.
Mm-hmm. All right. So you got freedom now. You moved away from your parents' place, but now this freedom, in a way, it started creating a prison for you, if I'm right.
Yeah, and my boyfriend have always could eat whatever he liked to without gaining weight, so it was just a bad match, to be honest.
And before starting with me, what do you have any concerns with working with me, or just hiring help? What concerns did you have before getting help?
Yeah, you have to realize that you think you got a problem, and to be honest about it with yourself and with your family and friends. I think that was the hard part to say out loud, that I was actually ashamed, and like you said, it felt like a present for me. And then I just researched. It's a lot about trust when you pick a personal trainer, I think, because you are just so vulnerable. So it was important to me to find someone who I felt I could be honest with and won't judge me.
Mm-hmm. And did you have thoughts like, okay, maybe this won't work for me, or any doubt there, or did you just believe that this would work as long as you trusted the individual you would work with?
No, I think I felt so bad at the time. I just needed someone to tell me, okay, we need to do this and that to make sure that you feel better. So no, that was actually not a worry to me. I just need to do some changes, no matter what it was actually.
So what I would like to hear a bit more about is all the challenges you had, like on the journey. Like you went from, I have the numbers here. You went from over the course of a year, you went from 34% in body fat to 22%. You lost 10 kilograms, corresponding to 22 pounds, going from 64 kilograms to 54 over that year. And we also had we had some challenges coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Could you maybe elaborate a bit on the challenges you had on the way and how you conquered those?
Yeah, so I have always loved workout and sports in general, so that part came easy. But I have struggled the most mentally about my relationship to food,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes I still struggle. So it's quite a big deal to me about my food habits. So yeah, it was a combination between I want to enjoy life so bad, but at the same time I want to stick to a diet and reach my fitness goal. So yeah, that was a big worry, the food relationship. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and how did it go? Like, how did it play out with this issue?
so I remember actually a specific episode in our journey together. I was telling you in one of our weekly updates that I had a hard time to, especially when I have to eat away from home, birthdays, family dinners, parties, all that kind of stuff. And luckily, you met me with a big understanding, and we have so many good talks about it. I remember a concrete piece of advice you gave me, and I actually still use that kind of advice when I'm dealing with my nutrition. So you have always told me that it was not the one night, the one weekend, or even the one vacation that would make a big difference in the big picture. So you gave me an experiment. For one week, I have to eat, whatever I want. That was perfectly fine.
Okay. I can't even remember
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, that was just,
What the
wow.
Oh, nice. Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
and I shouldn't worry about it, but keep my training sessions. And 1 week later, I had to weigh myself, and I just remember I was, so afraid that I gained a bunch of weight, but actually I haven't gained any kind of weight
Mm-hmm.
in that 1 week. So, that kind of experiment just eliminated my fear of putting weight on overnight or over a weekend. So I have used this advice for so many times since, look at the big picture, not on the single meal or the single weekend.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So basically this concept of like, you're afraid of something, then just let go, let's do it. And then and then yeah. Also when it comes to recently I've been reading with if, for example, with sleep, for example, some people who've
Mm-hmm.
had trouble sleeping, then they go to a therapist, and then the therapist says, okay, try to instead focus on not falling asleep. Like the goal should be to not fall
Yeah.
asleep. So we're basically
Yeah.
going headfirst against that challenge.
Yeah, and nutrition is also a kind of a mindset. You need to have that it's okay to struggle, but you can find solutions.
So after that challenge, that exercise you had for that week, how was your approach then? Like, how did it change mentally for you?
That definitely eliminated my fear, but food habits is just so big of a deal, so it didn't change overnight. But when you tell someone that you have a problem, it just released so much, I think. So it was actually more our talks that make that different for me. That was okay to say, okay, I'm struggling so much. I'm afraid of going to birthdays or family dinners because I want to do so perfect, because I want to achieve my goals so bad. But I also want to live life.
Yeah. And if I recall properly, we started off with a meal plan, isn't that? And then it was you found it was too strict, and then we went down to where you got like the numbers to be eating after the macronutrient distribution and the calories, and that worked better for you, didn't it? Or how?
Yeah, so I think many knows the feeling like if you have set your mind to that one diet, you can only think about all the things that you don't want to eat. And that's what's happened to me. I was just too focused about food. So when we did the what fit your macro kind of thing, it was more free to me. And, I could decide for myself what I want to eat in the different meals.
Yeah. So basically for the listener, what we did is she had a nutrition tracking app. I think it was MyFitnessPal we used at the time,
Yeah,
where she
exactly.
basically just got the numbers, the calories, and the amount of protein, carbs, and fats that she needed to eat, and then she basically ate whatever would fit those numbers, and this. As in this way, then you also felt that you had some sort of freedom. So it's not like, okay, you are being regimented, and it's something that you can actually have as lifestyle.
Yeah, and your diet plan should also stick in real life after the journey. And therefore, it was perfectly fine for me to get some numbers because that's something I could maintain afterwards.
And how is it today with your nutrition? How do you do it currently?
Yeah, so I still got macro numbers. So I track my food in my fitness pal, but I don't have, a strict diet plan that I must follow.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe some days I eat more fat or more protein, but that's okay. Maybe the next day will be different. So, it's just guidance, I think.
Great. Perfect. Any other challenges that you had on this transformation that you went through that year?
Yeah, so it's the whole thing that you have to see yourself in that kind of situation, that you have to realize that you have come so far away from who you want to be. I think that was hard. And then your body changed and your mindset changed, and that you have to adapt to. But with the weight loss, I just gained so much more confidence, just, in personal kind of things. Yeah, I think that it was some challenge to look in the mirror and see some different kind of person.
Yeah. And how did you, like, how did you, like, when being in this situation, like, how did you process the fact that, okay, my body is not where it normally used to be, and I need to really put in some work now? Like, what was it that basically kept you in the fight and made you like, okay, we need to stay the course and really go through with this?
Yeah, I just always had that mindset that if there's something you're so sad about, you have to take action. You have to make some changes. Maybe it would be hard, but it will definitely be worth it. So, if the goal is important enough, you will find a way to it. And another thing that was very important to me was to share it with family and friends, to say out loud, okay, I'm not feeling good, but I'm in a process where I want to feel better. So, they could always ask me how I'm doing, and I will give them an answer to that. So sharing is caring, actually.
Yeah. So basically, sharing your situation and your goal, your challenge with your not only with the trainer but with your loved ones, your relatives, your boyfriend. So you feel that this, like, in a way, empowered you on the journey.
Yeah. For me, it was important to share the journey. Also, like when you have to eat out, it was nice for me that they had an understanding why I could say, oh, no thanks.
Mm-hmm.
And they go like, oh, why don't you want to eat that? Or, just have a support team behind you. I think that's so important in so many aspects.
Yeah, in a way, I guess it also served as an accountability aspect in those situations. And if maybe they see you deviating, then they would be like, "Oh, Pernille, you have this goal," or maybe with you just needed understanding from them, because or how was it?
Yeah, and you know, I actually don't think that my family and friends knew how bad I was feeling.
Mm-hmm.
So it took some long talks to tell them that I was actually a very bad place in my life. I was not happy with my body or with my, you know, mindset at that point. So yeah.
So another question is, if we were to look at your habits, of course we got
Mm-hmm.
you on a training regimen, and yeah, on training and also with proper nutrition. But are there other
Mm-hmm.
habits that maybe changed? Could you maybe elaborate a bit on some of your habits that change over the course of that year?
Yeah, so you know, a part was the training. I just went from not want to work out to enjoying working out. That was a free place for me. So if you had a stressful day at the study place or at your work, actually the gym was the best place for me to go afterwards. And you know, I have heard a lot like, oh, you just have to exercise, that will give you some more energy. I was just like, oh, hell no. Actually, they were right. You gain energy from, you know, using energy. So I came addicted to work out because it was just doing so much good for me, both like, you know, to get the body I was searching for, but also it was just so important to me to have that free space.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it wasn't that, like, when you just first started, then it was didn't like you didn't consider it as a free space, from what I remember. Then
Oh,
you
I
were
hated
very,
it.
yeah, you were intimidated by the
Yeah.
gym, and
Hmm.
but yeah, so it's more like, what made this shift? Is it something, a gradual process, or what was it that changed it from being a something you were afraid of to becoming like your sanctuary?
So I think it's important to find a personal trainer that can make you feel safe in a new environment. And you certainly did that. You know, we started always our sessions in a corner, away from all the mirrors and all the people. Um, and that was safe for me. I was worried about how the other would see me. But you know, as more as you learn to just have focus on yourself, the other people isn't a worry anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, it was important to have a personal trainer by my side, so I was not alone in the gym and was like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing here. What should I do now? What should I do the next?
Mm-hmm.
And you know, as I told earlier on, if your goal is big enough, you find a way to achieve it. And I was just at a point where I want to make the change so bad.
But yeah, and maybe you also realize this later down the road, that actually there's not really many people who look at you when you are at the gym, because they're already busy
No.
with their own goal and with their own transformation. Or how did you experience that?
Yeah, and you know, like you can only gain respect when you want to do something for yourself to get to a better place.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that fear was eliminated over time.
Yeah, because then you also, in a way, you got confidence, like you know what you're
Yeah.
doing in the gym, and then yeah, like those other people, they're not paying your bills. It's
Hmm.
all about you and your transformation and your goal.
Yeah,
um
exactly.
Good. And maybe, do you have any other habit that you could think of that changed? Maybe some tricks you discovered when being in this transformation journey. For example, you're saying when you went to the supermarket that you
Hmm.
would have a tendency to go overboard with candy, for example. Like, did you have some tricks you developed, some tools you developed as you went through that process?
Yeah, meal prepping is so important for me even today. To stick to a plan every Sunday, I make a list like what should I eat during the week, and go to the supermarket and buy the stuff and prep some of the things. So like the nutrition part is just easy for me now. I should not be worried about what to eat for dinner or for lunch, or. So I have done that consideration on the Sundays.
Yeah, so it's something that pretty much prepped in the fridge where you just take it off the fridge and that's it.
Yeah, and now I'm in a place where if I want to have an ice cream or a piece of chocolate, I eat it. So. And I don't eat, a whole bunch of it, but maybe it was just a little piece or a little bite that I was craving for. So the amounts have definitely changed for me.
Yeah.
It's
So
not,
moderation,
all or
basically.
nothing.
Yeah. So you mean going from all or nothing mentality to things being more in moderation?
Relaxed. Yeah, and just more relaxed about the food thing. Yeah.
And for you to get here where you are, where things are now in moderation, where
Mhm.
you are in a, when it comes to mental health wise regarding this topic, then it's, yeah, we're in the better range now. Like, is it because you like over the last couple of years you've been consistently attacking this fear of gaining weight suddenly by deviating a bit from your meal plan or your macros, or like what did you do to get here now?
Yeah, so with the weight loss, I gained a much more self-worth. So I am now confident that I am in control of my nutrition. And maybe you are going on vacation or have a night out, but I have the tools to get back on track. So I have built up so much confidence that I know I am in control of it, and the food isn't controlling me anymore.
And when you're saying getting back on track, like you have the tools to get back on track, could you elaborate a bit on those tools?
Yeah, so if I haven't meal prep for the week, it is still easy for me to eat like shit actually. Um, and maybe sometimes I just need that kind of break from it, where I'm seeing friends and go drinking or go get an ice cream, and that's okay to have that kind of room for it. But I also know that, okay, maybe it's 1 day, 2 day, 3 days, and then I have to get back on track. And I think that I have the tools now to, go back and say, okay, I need to prep my meals. I have to go to the grocery and buy the food so I don't get too tempted in the afternoon or something like that.
All right. So in a way, like when you feel that you're in a way falling, you don't resist. You pretty much just let yourself fall. You roll,
Yeah,
and then you stand up again.
yeah, exactly. That's a good way to say it.
Okay, great. And this confidence in that it's gonna be okay. That's something, again. We already talked a bit about it, but this is, again, I get to the feel that this is something that has been incorporated into your life by you just, again, being consistent with this process and just attacking this fear. If I'm correct.
Yeah, so I have taught that you have to keep fighting for what you want to achieve. Maybe you take a crash, but you will get back up, and the next time you will do even better. And that's a great thing. That's okay to make some fails along the way. That's just human. That don't mean that everything is ruined. There's just a little part of the big picture.
Yeah. So basically, you're failing forward, or maybe like taking a trampoline. Maybe you are in the low end, but soon enough, then you're up again in the air.
Yeah, and also the realization about if you want to make some changes in your life, it won't be easy, but it will definitely be worth it. And there's no better feeling than that. And in the end of the day, it's all up to you. We all know the feeling about it can be so tempting just to throw the towel and give up, but you have to hang on, and you will find the courage to take some action on your goals, I think.
So now we'll shift gears a little bit. Because I feel we touched enough for now on the challenges. So when we were working together, that it was not plant-based. My company and myself, I was not vegan at all at that time. But with time, and that was actually while we were not working together, then you've also gone plant-based. So could you tell me a bit, like, what's the story behind that? What made you do this shift?
Yeah, so after my study time, I moved to a new city where I had to build some new relationships. And that's why I started doing CrossFit, so I could meet some new people, and I met my current trainer. And I think it was like maybe around Christmas time, my coach tried a plant-based lifestyle, and I was just so inspired that I had to try it, actually. Like, for me, meat have never been my kind of thing anyway, so it was not that big of a change in my diet, but it actually started with my coach.
Yeah, so your coach pretty much presented you to this way of eating, and what is it that stuck? Like, why are you still leaning towards this plant-based way of eating?
Yeah, so I was trying the plant-based lifestyle for a while, and I just experienced that I had more energy, actually a better restitution from my training sessions. And another part of it was that I just, feel better, not that bloated after every meal like I used to. And another thing is I haven't been so often sick as usual. So yeah, the short story is that I just feel better on a plant-based diet, and that's a good enough reason for me to continue that kind of nutrition and lifestyle.
Yeah, and when you're saying plant-based, just so that we are totally clear, it's not fully vegan. Like, so there's still animal products in it. Am I right when you're saying plant-based?
Yeah, I started, very strict, but for now I will consider myself more like vegetarian, vegan kind of thing. So I practice a plant-based lifestyle when it's an opportunity, but if I eat out with family and friends or things like that, I just eat whatever they serve me, just not the meat that make a bit different for me.
But it's also a good choice health-wise. And for the listener, the body of scientific evidence also points towards the most optimal diet being one which is plant-rich, where most of the foods come from the plant kingdom rather than the animal kingdom. So yeah, great. So yeah, you made a wise decision, Pernille.
I think so.
Yeah. Let's say you were to take the time machine, and have you watched the movie Back to the Future?
No, but tell me.
Okay, all right. You must watch this movie. It's a classic. But okay. But then we're just taking a time machine, and we are going into we're going back to the past, like we already talked a bit about. But now you are going there, and you're about to meet yourself. Pernille version November 2017. If you could give one tip, one piece of advice, what would be that piece of advice you would give to your past self?
Yeah, that's a good question, actually. I think if I have to choose one, that it was you're worth enough no matter how you look and how you feel. I was just so insecure about myself, and that was a new situation for me actually. I could not recognize myself anymore. But I has also learned that your self-worth is not depending on your weight or your look. So that's just a bonus when you're losing weight. So be more confident would be my advice. You're good enough.
Yeah. So the takeaway here is you are enough, no matter what the weight is, how you look.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because
And it's okay, if you want to improve yourself, but you're good enough just the way you are.
Yeah. And let's say you were to adapt this as from your start of this weight loss journey. How would it have been different, this process?
Oh, in the beginning, I was actually very afraid to go to the gym. And I feel like I was holding myself back a lot. And that's something I regret. I remember you trying to, in a nice way, push me to doing CrossFit. But at that time, I was not ready. I think I didn't have the courage to do something new in a new environment with new people. And there's no feeling that's more worse than you want to do something, but you just don't have the courage to do it anyway.
Yeah. And it was like the fear of being judged and looked at from other people that was stopping you, or how was it?
Yeah, exactly. Just the same story as when I started doing fitness.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and now, now you doing CrossFit, where correct me if I'm wrong, it's 5 days a week, 2 sessions per day, and you are heading on to competing soon. Am I right?
Yeah, exactly. And something I have learned from CrossFit is that according to the food and nutrition part is that now enough food brings me closer to my goal, which is eating CrossFit. So food is now my friend and not my enemy anymore.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's just, kind of funny to think about.
Mm-hmm. And also you have also been seeing your progress on Instagram. You sent me some clips, and it's really impressive what you've learned over a pretty short time with the skills in CrossFit. So I just want to really congratulate you on this amazing win, actually.
Oh, thanks. CrossFit has done so much good for me. It was definitely not love at first sight, but it be that when CrossFit is about a lot of burpees and thrusters, So, but actually, I broke my ankle in the first, I think, 3 months from a box jump.
Okay.
But with it, CrossFit had made me so much stronger, especially in a mental kind of way.
And what's apart from competing, like what's next now on your fitness journey? Like any other goals you have for yourself?
Yeah, so funny thing is that maybe I was overweight when we started our journey, but now I'm just kind of tiny. So I have struggled with weightlifting. So I actually want to maybe gain some weight and do good in weightlifting, because that's a big part of the competition.
Yeah, definitely. In CrossFit, like if you have the strength, that's often the ticket to get onto new levels. That often is a limiting factor for athletes, whether they go on to the next step, or if they win a competition or not.
Yeah, so food is the fuel for me to live life the way that I want to live, like right now, to train hard and become better and stronger in weightlifting.
We are nearing the time for today's show, Pernille. So I just want to thank you for for joining
Thank you.
this podcast episode. Is there anywhere people could, if they're interested in following you or knowing more about you, do you have any handles you would like to share?
Yeah, so that's another kind of funny, thing about me, that I actually just finished a degree as a personal trainer and nutrition coach.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I can help others out on the same journey that I took myself on with you by my side. So I appreciate if the people will follow me on Instagram and see my content.
Yeah, and what's your handle? What's your name on Instagram?
Oh, maybe we should write it, somewhere, because it's just so long and not an easy.
It's I have your Instagram.
A lot of I's and L's and
yeah. So it's PERN, and then it's I LLL E.
Yeah.
So
4 I's,
3 L's.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Yeah. Great. Awesome. Perfect. Good. All right, but then I just want to thank you for being on today, and hopefully we will talk again, maybe on the podcast again later in the future.
Yeah, that would be nice. Thank you for letting me tell my story.
Yes, no, it was a pleasure. All right, ciao. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you enjoyed the episode with Pernille K Rasmussen. Her handle to Instagram will be linked in the show notes, so do go check that out and connect with her. Thanks for listening to today's episode. If you're not already subscribed to the show, do consider doing it. Our next episode is going to be about vegan protein. How do we get our protein as a vegan trainee? Other than that, if you're looking for a simple guide that can just help you go vegan basically instantly, teach you about how to figure out how many calories, how much protein, carbohydrates, and fats you need in your food, and also just some meal ideas, which supplements to get, blood tests, and more, then head on over to www.myveganpersonaltrainer.com/how-to-go-vegan in one, nothing in between, just one word, how to go vegan, and you will be directed to our free ebook, which will be sent to your inbox.
Thanks for listening to the My Vegan Personal Trainer podcast with Rami at www.myveganpersonaltrainer.com.